Another episode of Punch Sports Extra. My name is Shegun Odmayo, and I have with me Abiodun Adewale. Together, we'll be doing this very wonderful show where we talk about, give you tidbits about happenings in the world of sports. And today, where exactly do we begin? But from the controversy, the chaos, the catastrophe, and the lackluster attitude of the Super Eagles of Nigeria in the last two World Cup qualifiers. I remember we were here last week. Myself, I think it was Peter that was here with me. And in our minds, in our heads, we dashed the Super Eagles of Nigeria 6 solid points, forgetting that, like they say, football is like biscuits. You do not know where or when it will decide to crack. And it did not crack in our favor, Abiodun. The first game, people thought it was just a mistake. We'll come over it. We'll get better in a couple of days after we played. And we played thunderstruck twice.
Oh, well, they say lightning.
Or is it lightning that struck twice?
This one is really struck twice. And what I'm still waiting for is what will be the ripples, the ripple effects
of 2 points from 6.
For 2 points from 6, you dashed them, they didn't even take it. The points were there to be taken, but of course they were not interested in hits. How have we got so bad when we were in an era when we were talking about abundance of informed strikers, informed midfielders, so to say, except for an injured informed midfielder. But then we always believe that even if this person is not in, we still have another person
someone
who
else.
can definitely represent. But then a lot of things, a lot of promises, a lot of expectations, but then we got nothing out of something that we had. So it was there to be taken for the Super Eagles, but they were just the Super Eagles that they used to be, like uninspiring, no sense of responsibility, very lackluster display, and you begin to look at it from head to toe, from the first player to the last player to the technical crew. It's just the same thing that we've been saying over and over again. But it's sad that we are getting to see this at the World Cup qualifiers just after handing the coach a contract extension.
Renewal.
So it makes it very dicey. I mean, the problem just gets complicated when you begin to think about it. So at this point, a lot of people are saying, do you even sack him now? Is it too late to even sack him now? Do you just allow him to see out the remaining 8 games in the qualifier? Although I'm not sure his contract will still be active by the time the qualifiers
2025 ending or something.
And again, but then the main thing now in our front now is the Africa Cup of Nations, and we are trending the hashtag "Let's do it again" when we can't even do basic things right.
Yeah, before we come to that,
so it's a lot. It's a lot, and the more you think, the more complicated it gets. The more you look, the less you see.
The less you see.
The Super Eagles. So you begin to wonder where exactly is the problem.
All right, let's talk about the first game against Lesotho. I watched that game, and of course, it wasn't on terrestrial TV, neither was it on pay TV. But we find our way around things, online apps and all that. And I watched and I saw
it's the whole of Africa.
Expectation was high. And we were struggling to come back from a goal down in our own backyard.
How did you even go down?
How did that game happen like that? Please, let's analyze it. I mean, we got an equalizer from Shemi Ajayi, and then they scored first. Another goal that just came out of nowhere, and it was 1-0. And before we could say Jack Robinson, we were chasing the game. And then Shemi Ajayi got the equalizer off that corner kick. Who played that corner kick again? Was it Moses Simon or Kelechi Iheanacho? And we got the goal, and we thought, okay, how many minutes more? 15, 20 more minutes? Can we get something? I was even thinking, why do we have to be fighting? You are not Real Madrid. You are not comeback kings. Don't put yourself in that situation at all. But we found ourselves in the situation, and we thought, okay, perhaps this is the time for us to get something. And we didn't get anything. Let's talk about Lesotho. Nigeria.
Well, for Lesotho, the last time we were in a similar situation was against Guinea-Bissau in Abuja.
Yes.
And everybody, even before the players said a word, everybody already gave them the excuse that they were playing on a bad pitch. But we've always known that the Gospel Akpabio Stadium has one of the best grounds,
if not our best,
in Nigeria at the moment. And the team are there. That's like the second game they will be playing on that top. They've moved back to Uyo now, and it looks like, the naturalness of the Eagles, they are used to it. So there is no excuse about the turf. There were expectations before that game, but then off the pitch, fans were supposed to pay 1,000 naira to get in. Not until about some hours.
I was told they
off,
threw the
they
stadium
had to throw
open.
the gate open because fans were not
They were not ready to pay 1K.
to come into the so
this
leave
economy.
economy aside and all of that. Let's come back to the Super Eagles. So, as much as fans were not interested, that's what I wanted to pick from the fans angle. As much as they were not interested in paying 1,000 to come into the stadium, they wanted to watch from wherever they could watch and see the Super Eagles deliver what they expected of them. But the moment the first half ended goalless, it became a little bit difficult. Lesotho came to Nigeria with a lot of respect. You need to listen to their coach when he was speaking ahead of the game. He was practically talking.
But the same man said after the game that they didn't show us any respect.
Eventually,
was he playing mind games with?
If it was me too, I would pocket the respect. If I get a 100,
and then
Nigeria,
speak up.
They were ranked 100 and they are ranked 135th in the world.
In the world,
it's a far place from where the Super Eagles are. So, playing a goalless draw in the first half, I knew it was going to be a little bit difficult. So at the point where I was streaming, so I was just like, the kind of results that I want for the market from this game is for Lesotho to score. They just eat us with that goal. So after seeing that goal from Lesotho, what I wanted to see, more of what I wanted to see was not really about the market, you understand what I mean, but the character that the Super Eagles will put into the game that will also boost the market again and make stories very interesting. But
so
then,
it was about the market for you.
It's not just about that, but then it was more about the character of the Super Eagles for me. So it was just off in the first game. No character, but someone just came out of the blue. Good for Shemi Ajayi to get his first international goal for Nigeria.
Fantastic
But aside that, there is hardly anything positive we could pick from that. It was total disappointment.
Okay, very quick one. From that game, stars of the match, flops of the match.
Flops of the match. Interestingly, it's the man that we thought would fill in the Victor, the boots, as in Victor for Victor, not the .9 actually.
Yeah, he wasn't playing as a 9.
He wasn't even playing as a 9. He played the normal position behind the
where he plays, at Bayern Leverkusen.
But in Taiwo Awoniyi, totally hurt.
Taiwo was.
Awoniyi even had a miss that could be compared
to Yakubu Aigbeni of 2010.
He did in 2010, and a day later he pulled out of the squad, had to return because of injury. So that thing made me ask question: did he play the Lesotho game through injury? We had Terry Murphy on the bench for crying out loud. So if Awoniyi wasn't 100% fit,
why did they play Taiwo in the first place?
Awoniyi in the first place? He had to pull out after the first game. So apparently he didn't perform optimally in that first game. So if Pesera are throwing into the game injured, then
there was something wrong.
There was something wrong in the selection.
With an array of stars up front, especially.
So the two of them up front, total disappointment.
Are we going to say they are not?
Lukman,
Ademola Lukman.
The first time I saw him in Abuja against Ghana, I was like, so much promises, talented player, but then this guy doesn't really have the skill to come play for Nigeria. I think, to even get his debut against a team like Ghana was like putting the world on his shoulders. He has managed to shine in few games for Nigeria, scored maybe 1 or 2 goals already, but against Lesotho, you expect him to just come to the party again, but then quite disappointing. Not still the kind of energy you want to see in a Super Eagles player that wants to go to the AFCON, the Africa Cup of Nations. So
it's not the Champions League.
The front line was flat.
Yeah.
The midfield, apparently, will continue to say, Wilfred Ndidi, when he was out of form, we had this problem.
Yeah.
Now he's in form. We saw him against Saudi Arabia in the friendly, the most important man on the field.
Yeah.
We had Frank Onyeka the Tank.
Yeah.
Filling his boots, but then
it wasn't like Wilfred.
It wasn't just so if it is not Wilfred,
it can't be like
Wilfred.
Wilfred.
It can't be Wilfred. Maybe the defense line. I think that is where, just like the front line too, we have the most informed players at the moment. They didn't disappoint. For me, they did not. In fact, if you wanted to play another set of defenders in the second game, you could do that, and you'll be sure that they will give you 100%. So for me, let's not just talk about the man between the sticks.
Yeah. But in the first game, Francis Uzo did not have any blunders.
Well, he has not covered himself in glory.
But he wasn't the man to blame.
Yeah, he wasn't the man to blame because if you look at build up to the goal, the manner in which the goal was considered, it was inevitable.
Yeah.
But at the same time too, you imagine when someone within the stadium tells you that they were practically praying that Lesotho should not even get any shots on target because they were afraid that it could end up in the back of the net. It was that bad. So goalkeeping problem aside, I think that is just another old feature.
All right. So in that game for you, who was what players were the top 2, top 3 Nigerian players?
No top 2, no top 3, just one outstanding player, Shemi Ajayi, for at least
for the getting that goal.
For sparing the blushes of the Eagles.
He else will have lost. All right, that happened in Uyo against Lesotho, and we thought, Zimbabwe, here we come. We are going to Rwanda. We are going to go and crush the Zimbabweans. I mean, they can't even play in their own country. They have to play in Rwanda. It's a neutral ground for everybody. There's no home advantage. So we thought, and then we thought, okay, especially after Peseiro coming out to give excuses, this and that, and we thought, all right, you have a couple of days to redeem your image. And they went there, and that screamer from the Zimbabwean, about 30 yards, if not more than
35 yards.
Yeah, exactly. A goalkeeper of close to 7 feet. Couldn't time his jump, couldn't time his run, couldn't time his counting. And that is probably one of the best goals of the World Cup qualifier so far.
And maybe while positioning himself, maybe if he had taken at least a step backward too.
I think he just took 2 steps to the side rather than going to the back.
Yeah, so he might just have been able to get a tip on that ball. Maybe
anything could have happened.
Anything could have happened. But I don't think he stood any brighter chance of saving a ball
he went straight,
as brilliant as that.
He went straight to drink water.
Let's just pair the blushes of Francis Uzo for that goal and give the Zimbabwe guy the credit for executing that kind of free kick. So one of the lessons I think we should pick from here is that when last did we have a dead ball specialist?
We don't have. We do not have any.
Even if
I think last was Taitayo.
Yeah, even if you give us a free kick on the edge of the 18-yard area,
we have nobody to play.
20 yards out.
Nobody.
25 meters
nobody.
Out. Talk of a free kick as far as 35 yards.
Nobody.
So if a country like Zimbabwe can have a specialist
that can do that,
and he executed it perfectly, that you were so sure that ball was going into the back of the net. He
had nowhere else it was going.
So that's another lesson that I think we should learn. Dead ball specialists, do we even have them in our
We
team?
don't.
So how much of then what are we saying when we say we have the most informed people, the most informed striker, the most informed midfielders and all of that, if they can't even master the art of passing and even taking free kicks? So that aside, before the game against Zimbabwe had played a goalless draw against Rwanda.
Yes.
In Rwanda.
Yes.
And you need to look at the reaction of their fans on social media. They weren't satisfied with whatever Zimbabwe did in the first game. And I was surprised. So Nigeria going into that game, I knew it was going to be a little bit of problem because a country that people were expecting so much from.
In their first game.
2 expectations meeting. And it was just like Nigeria needed to save their face in that game. But unfortunately, the same tale from Uyo. And this time around, it was... They led in the first half, not even in the second half this time around. So,
about 35 minutes.
So the same problem, character. The character wasn't just there. From the last friendly match against Saudi Arabia, I've always said one thing about Kelechi Iheanacho. For me, it does not matter if he starts a game or he's brought in from the
He always comes to the party.
He has a way of coming to the party.
He plays decently.
He just gets his decent thing. Even if you take him over afterwards, I'm not bothered. Just let him.
Let me do my thing and go home.
That was just what we saw.
Yeah.
Something sublime, something exquisite.
R2.
You don't have to stress yourself too much. You don't have to labor or sweat too much to get that kind of a goal. And on his 50th appearance, he got his 15th goal for the national team. And that was just like the only thing we could take away from this. Now we have 8 games left in this qualifier. It remains to be seen where if another World Cup is going to be eluding Nigerians. Because South Africa are playing tomorrow and they could go
4 points ahead.
4 points ahead or 6 points ahead. Trouble.
No. They have 3 points right now. We have 2. So if they win, they will be 6 points ahead. If they draw,
they will have 6 points and be 4
points ahead of us. Yeah, that will be 6-2.
Yeah.
All right. Tells you that we are in a very, very big pot of trouble. Like I said, last week Monday, we were here, myself and Peter, waxing lyrical about the Super Eagles, expecting that after the weekend had come and gone, we'll be sitting sweetly, beautifully on top of the log with 6 points. But here we are. We have brought out our Nigerian mathematical calculator, and the mathematics have once again begun. But very quickly, did we miss Victor Osimhen? Did Osimhen's injury affect us in these 2 games? If he had come to the party, if he was part of these games, would we be in similar situation where we'll be begging for 1 point?
It is difficult to tell if we will be in similar situation, but one thing was apparent: we will miss him. What I do not know is how many goals he would have scored if he was in that game. But apparently, we'll have seen a different energy up front, especially in Uyo during the first game. I remember the last qualifiers that he played there. I think he scored a penalty in that game too. The fans were totally behind him.
Yeah.
Even Samuel Chukwu is the one that I see that is always even playful and does not make.
He doesn't come to the party.
That doesn't come to the party. Even if he was in that game, he will do one or two tricks, waste 1 or 2 balls
as usual.
Then, but I'm sure that by the time he combines with Kelechi, by the time he combines with Victor Osimhen on about 3 occasions, we'll have had at least 1
a shot on goal. Even if we don't have a goal, we'll have a sweet shot on goal. But Moses Simon was for me was decent.
Always
was decent.
Always, yeah. You know, a lot of people.
He doesn't do much, but he will take you. Yeah, he will take you, give you those runs. He will struggle, win free kicks, win corner kicks. You know, he doesn't know how to play free kicks, but he will try to do his best. And
surprisingly,
let me not say he doesn't know how to play free kicks. He's not special.
Moses Simon, he announced himself with his free kick in one of our qualifiers in 2015 against Swaziland. Yeah, that was under the reign of Sunday Olise. As the coach of the team. That was the game that announced Moses Simon to me. And
people are like, bring that guy.
Bring that guy. Since then, he's been in the Eagles. Something has changed about him, truly. Not too much of the dead ball specialist that we thought he was. He runs right, left, and center. Runs, we saw him at the last half. We were talking about. We thought he was our savior. And all of that. He was there
until Tunisia had a solution to his problem.
Game, but we have a player as old and as experienced as that in our team. We should be winning Zimbabwe and Lesotho.
I mean, if we cannot beat Zimbabwe and Lesotho, look at that team, that group rather. If we cannot beat Zimbabwe and we can't beat Lesotho, is it South Africa we're going to go and beat in Durban? Are we going to beat South Africa here at our backyard? Are we going to, Rwanda? Are we going to beat Rwanda? I mean, Lesotho was supposed to be 6 points straight bonus with 6 goals.
And we have
without thinking.
Benin Republic.
Benin Republic, I mean, we'll have about 3 or 4 Nigerians playing for that team. It's a normal. Whenever we're playing Benin Republic, there will be some somewhere. Do you wanna? So that one is always a derby. I mean, I don't think we've ever defeated Benin Republic in recent time. 4-3. It's always 2-1, 1-0. It's always a struggle because these are boys. Some of them are boys who have wanted to play for the Super Eagles. Unfortunately, they had to play for Benin Republic because greener pasture was not coming their way, so they had to look for solutions to their problems.
And it will interest you to know that some of the players that you expect to see in our own league are playing in the Benin Republic league.
I was told of a couple recently, a couple of players who switched. I mean, to the Benin Republic League. Where was I hearing that from? And I was told they were even getting bigger monies, bigger salaries than what they will be paying in the NPFL.
We have Nigerian players who used to be in the league, stars in the league, who are now playing
in the Benin Republic League. Wow, there's a lot of problems. And now, very quickly, the controversial question that has been on everyone's lips in the last 48, 72 hours now. Pasero, what is the way forward? Are we stuck in murky waters?
Looks like we are stuck to me because at this point, we are how many days to the AFCON?
The AFCON is in January. 13th, we have just how many more days in November, then December. We should be in camp. We should be in camp someday. I mean, second week or third week of December.
So apparently, we are stuck in murky waters. But the point where we are now is that this man is even linked to a job in Egypt.
They said he has submitted applications and he is also trying to elope.
But he denied it when he was asked, and he said, you know, the way he
but it was reported by one of Egypt's top media organizations
that
his name, his CV was there, and that he wants to leave the Super Eagles.
So, whether he submits application for another job, whether we want to sack him, it only leads us to one place. Are we going into the AFCON with this man? Because if he's going to leave, I don't know, maybe notice period applies to his own deal. Maybe he wants to finish the AFCON
and then leave,
resign, part with some money, and just
I mean, he's getting good money already. $50,000 or so.
It should be around that. It was $70,000.
They said he reduced it to 50 in a month. 30 days, $50,000, bro.
So we don't know, but whether he wants to resign for the Zamalek job, we don't know if he will get it. Whether the NFF are thinking about sacking him, it only leaves us stuck at the same time because it's just less than 2 months to the AFCON, do we go with I like Pep Guardiola to another AFCON and see? I don't know.
Do you know Guardiola? I was still a boy.
I don't
Do you know Guardiola?
So do we go into the AFCON just the same way we did, and of course
We'll get bundled out.
prosecuted the game against Ghana and just.
But at this rate, we may not even go past the group stages. I mean, look at what we've been doing. This man has lost as many games as he has won. I think he has drawn 4 games. He has won 4 games. He has lost 3. Not good enough. Not good enough for him. The CGPA is very low right now.
The numbers are not even speaking.
So what is the problem with the Super Eagles? What is the problem? Look at our boys. This weekend now they will score. Boniface, if Boniface does not score, Taiwo Awoniyi will score. If Taiwo Awoniyi does not score, Ademola Lookman will score. If Ademola Lookman does not score, Terence Murphy will score. If Terence Murphy does not score, Olaina will do assist. This weekend they are going to play. Kelechi and Ndidi are flying at Leicester. So why do they always have problems whenever they switch on the green or white, as the case may be, colors of the Super Eagles?
I think it's a question of character, and at the same time, we should have to scrutinize what happens on with the technical crew. I don't think any coaching
going on. You just shoot.
I don't think any coaching goes on in that area at all. So I think as much as we will question coaching too, let's question the character of the players when they are on duty for Nigeria. Something is just wrong somewhere, and it's between those two things.
Francis Uzo, the coach has said he will either swim or sink with him. And then the first game against Lesotho, people felt okay, nothing was his fault, he was doing his job. But against Zimbabwe, it looked like the god of trouble was not going to leave Francis Uzo alone. Because look at him running into another set of trouble. A man that is almost 7 feet. A man that can literally cover the goalpost, fighting for his life against a 30-yard, not a penalty, against a 30-yard free kick, for God's sake. Not against Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, but against a player right now as I'm speaking, I do not know his name. How did such evil befall us?
Well, I think it's our own doing, if you ask me. Because someone will always ask me within our office here that in the 20 clubs that are in the Nigeria Professional Football League, in many other clubs that are in the NNL, we can't find a goalkeeper.
But two got invited. Only Keojo and the goalkeeper Anas of Bendem Insurance. Yeah.
You know, one thing about invitation is that we've always known that they are just formalities
to fill the blanks.
We needed 3 goalkeepers. I'm not even sure Obasoge would have got that call up
if there was enough time to get another foreign goalkeeper.
Enough time to get another goalkeeper that is based abroad. So it's just formality. I don't know what goes on within their training, but then the moment they enter camp, it looks like the guys from abroad will be the favorites to get the starting positions.
It's a sure thing.
If Maduka was around,
and that is why a Francis Uzo that has not played 180 minutes this season who is not the number 1 goalkeeper at his Cyprus-based club, is the number 1 goalkeeper for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You
know, when talking about players individually, I try to be very careful because of certain things. But in this case, it amuses me how this guy has declined. This time last year, his team in Cyprus, Omonia played against Manchester United.
And he was everywhere.
At about November.
He was everywhere on that pitch.
He was everywhere.
Man of the match.
Different kinds of saves.
Almighty saves.
And all of that. It was just at a point for him that his career peaked. Because before then, he was dropping. So his career kind of peaked at that point too. But afterwards, we didn't hear. We heard almost nothing about him again. I check Nigerian players every week. This guy does not make the first 11 of his club in Cyprus. So if it's as bad as that, then I think we should be looking elsewhere. But it's sad that most of the players, most of the goalkeepers that we have abroad, they are not just in the league of the ones we can say, let's just put him there, go back to bed and sleep. So it's a lot of problem, because even if we have to look into the local league now, you know, there is a level that it gets to, especially when you have major competitions ahead of you, not friendlies, not some dead rubber games.
Serious events.
Then you begin to wonder, if you are Coach Pesero too, you would rather just want to go with the devil that you know.
than making a mistake that Nigerians will crucify you for. All right, there you have it. We've been talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the 2 World Cup qualifiers that we've played in the last few days. Remember, like I said, I think this is the 3rd or 4th time I'm saying it, because last week we were passing judgment on those teams, and we were waxing lyrical, saying that there was nothing that was going to stop the Super Eagles of Nigeria from getting 6 points. Voila, look at us, chilling with 2 points. We've lost 4. We lost, drew games, both games, drew here in Nigeria and drew Rwanda against Zimbabwe. This is how it works. We have 6 teams, yes, with Nigeria, 6 teams in these groups that has been created. Only the top teams in these various groups are going to qualify for the World Cup. The teams who come second in each group will be going to face another set of qualifying rounds.
With
this time, yeah, exactly. This time around, not with African teams, but from other continents, and that is the way the qualifiers will go for the 2026 World Cup. Very recently, it is definitely in everybody's memory that we failed to qualify for the last World Cup, and this time around, the idea was we have Rwanda, we have Benin Republic, we have Lesotho, we have Zimbabwe, and we have South Africa. These teams are good teams, but we are good enough as Super Eagles of Nigeria to crush them all, or to crush enough of them and stay on top. But as it stands, Nigeria has 2 points out of 2 games, meaning that we've missed 4. We've lost 4 points out of a possible 6. We got 2 games. The blame game has begun already. Victor Osimhen was absent. Francis Uzo was not well. Was not doing well in goal. Our coach Pesero is the problem. Ahmed Musa even said the Super Eagles fans are the problem. Our people now like to bet. They no longer support the Super Eagles from the bottom of their heart. They pushed Odion Igalo away. They pushed Victor Moses away. The fans pushed Mikel Obi away by their comments on Twitter and Instagram. I think Ahmed Musa has forgotten that whenever they do play well, like he said himself, that when he got back from the Russia 2018 World Cup, Nigerians were screaming, Ahmed Musa for president. I think he has forgotten that when you do play well, the Super Eagles fans do not love your club or where you play for. They do not care what part of the country you are from. They do not even care what your height is or how you speak your English. If you are a performer, you will definitely be hailed and celebrated by fans of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But when you do not play well, when you go to the pitch of play and give us a 20%, you do not expect fans of the Super Eagles of Nigeria to be hailing you. Do you expect fans of the Super Eagles to be hailing Francis Uzo? Do you expect fans of the Super Eagles to be hailing guys that are on the pitch of play? And unfortunately, they do not come to the party. I don't think it happens. If you send your children to school, you expect that they come home with good grades because you are paying from the deepest part of your pockets. And I think that's the relationship the Super Eagles fans have with the Super Eagles players. Where did he make this statement? I'm talking about Ahmed Musa. I made this statement at the Let's Do It Again campaign that was held, and I was looking at that. It was, they called the creme de la creme of sports stakeholders in Nigeria, held a party, called an artist to come and perform, and it was more like there was festival going on. What are we doing again, exactly? What are we doing again?
Yeah, for context, we want to win the AFCON again.
Can we win the AFCON with these guys?
We cannot win the AFCON.
Can we get to the final with these guys?
Let's see if we even get out of the group stage with these guys. But what another thing that amazed me there was that Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Eno, spoke at the event, and he talked about what the entertainment industry is looking like and what the sports industry is looking like, making a reference to, this Let's Do It Again campaign is bringing in some influencers from the entertainment world.
Okay.
So, and he was now trying to relate this. So I needed someone to ask him, the influencers and the entertainers, were they not paid?
Be on the pitch.
Were they not paid to even trend the hashtag in
Let's do it again?
Do you think they will be involved?
If there's no money, they won't do anything again.
If there was no dollars involved, not even naira this time around. So,
all right, very quickly, let's talk about the Nigeria Premier Football League. 5 goals involved in the Remo Stars game.
Good for TV.
Beautiful. Sikiri Alimi. I mean, this guy can probably replace Taiwo Awoniyi or any of these guys.
8 goals.
He has been banging goals for
fun. We saw it now that he's making a claim, as in, with his goals, he's making his claim that
he wants to be. He can go to AFCON.
But then let's talk about the home-based team first.
All right. And also, welcome to the Nigeria Premier Football League to Sporting Lagos. They were fighting for a point against Atlanta, who are bottom of the log in the 99th minute. The question is, were they supposed to get 9 minutes extra time?
Thank God to
who fell on the pitch of play.
Thank God to former Atlanta player Jonathan Aluku.
Yeah.
Thank God he go for
Yeah.
that. And you can't imagine the team that is on top at the moment.
Yeah.
Doma United.
Doma United, who just came.
You need to listen to their song.
Wow, interesting. And Shooting Stars of Ibadan are also in the top 3 or top 4. I mean, I have a lot of shooting. 17. Yeah, I think it's Remo who has 1 game in hand, who will go to 18 if they win. The MPFL is beautiful at the moment. If you are not watching Nigerian League, you need to leave wherever you are, go to a stadium close to you, and enjoy beautiful football. Beautiful football. I tell you the truth. Thank you very much for being a part of this. We've had a very interesting period here, giving you the strongest sports are coming out from the world of sports, strongest sports coming out from the world of sports. Thank you very much to Olalekan Adetunji, who has been behind the cameras and moving from A to B to C. Thank you very much to Sulaiman Adeni, who has produced this show. On behalf of Abiodun Adewale, my name is Shegun Odwan. Saying have yourselves a fantastic Monday and a great week. God bless you.